Obviously, application like this with multiple drawing features and interesting choices to offer for your users, it's pretty open-ended and can be extended indefinitely. But here are some challenges that I'd like to discuss with you, and these are optional features, but those are interesting features to discuss. How would you add a unique sequential number to a drawing shape on the screen? So basically what we have here in our application is that the drawing box contains, as we discussed before, a vector of primitives. So every primitive that we add to the drawing box will have its unique position inside this vector. So perhaps we could use the index here as a source for unique code for the shapes that we add to the vector of drawing primitives. So that would be possibility to obtain the sequential number. How then would you display this identity code? So what I'm thinking is that I'm drawing a circle, I'm drawing a rectangle here, and the possibility would be that we could use whatever we did with the text to use the same functionality, the same logic to modify the drawing here that could display the identity code together, basically print text, together with an actual shape. And it can be switched on and off, right? Where would so this would be another checkbox potentially that we could add somewhere here, or maybe somewhere the menu choice, so that the user can turn on the display of identity codes of the actual shapes that they have. So this is just an interesting challenge and could be pretty useful type of feature for the user. Where would you display the shape identity codes? Well, I think an obvious choice is that because every graphical primitive in our application derives itself from the primitive base. The primitive base is storing the top left and bottom right coordinate of the shape, right? It's like an imaginary rectangle that can be envisioned for any shape. A line will have it, a circle will have it, text has it, everybody, all these gadgets have it. So it's possible then to rely on these coordinates to calculate the centers, and then so we can add new function to primitive base to give us the coordinate of the center of the shape, and we could potentially just use this center coordinate to display text to print the identity code for the shape that we want to be able to identify. Also, how would you implement a single object selection by mouse clicking? So the hint is that we could have a member function to calculate the center point, which we just discussed, of an object, and just use mouse down when the user clicks inside these shapes, right, to search for object in question. So we could basically just like sort of like go through this vector that we just talked about, vector of all graphical primitives, and essentially once we compute the coordinate, we can choose which one of these primitives is the closest to this click. Okay, so something like that could be used to implement something that we can select, basically click inside these shapes and be able to select them. Right, so once found, the object should be shown in alternative color. Okay, so once we make a selection right here, the color could change. We can simply flip the colors to the opposite colors. And the mouse down combined with Shift key could allow selection of multiple objects. And once the object is selected, it could be moved as well. So we can have, perhaps we could implement a mouse right click or left click or middle click, other options to be able to move objects around the screen. So we could move objects to different location. So this would be interesting challenges and make it much more practical for the user, not just to create the shape, but be able to move it around. And how would you scale the object or enlarge or decrease its size? So we could use matrix math, linear algebra to apply to our shapes to reshape them, but we can kind of simplify this possibly to just internally move the object to the origin of the system of coordinates, multiply by some scaling factor all of its coordinates, and then with new coordinates move back to the original location. So these are interesting challenges, and obviously these are optional features. You don't have to add them to your project, but I just wanted to discuss some of these possibilities with you with respect to drawing applications. And of course, these types of challenges would be very, very basic and very common in different environments that use some kind of graphical design interaction with the user as part of the application interface. So when you're done with the work, just submit it the usual way through the upload link, but make sure that you delete your debug and release subfolders or something else that is not taking extra space on your drive. So normally when I exit from my projects, I already showed you multiple times that first thing that I do normally is that I just clean the solution. I typically go to the window and close all windows, and then I just close the solution in my Visual Studio, and then I go to the project directory, and I typically get rid of VS and debug or release that I was building. And once this is done, this is sort of like ready for archiving. I can right click and send it to the zip file. I use 7-zip normally to create a zip file with the content of this project. So this is saving time, and now we can archive it someplace else.